Hi viewers, today we are going to discuss processing, preservation and byproducts of fishes. Under this topic, we are going to talk about processing of fish, preservation of fish, principles of preservation, methods of preservation and byproducts of fishes. See the processing of fish. Processing refers to the processes associated with fish and fish products between the time a fish are caught or harvested and the time the final product is delivered to the customer. The harvested fish should be cleaned and cooled as soon as possible due to their strong digestive juices. Fish spoil very soon and if not gutted and cleaned promptly may develop off flavor and color. The instruments which are needed are a sharp knife, clean cloth, plastic bags and the crushed ice. They should be kept ready for gutting and cleaning of the fish. With the help of the knife, fish should be cleaned and bled. Throat should be cut and gills and entrails will be removed. Cleaned fish first be put in plastic bags and then in ice. To prevent contamination, hands, working area, cutting boards, knives and other utensils should be properly cleaned with water and soap. Coming to the preservation of fish. Fish preservation is very important aspect of the fisheries. Normally, the fish farms or the fish capturing sites are located far off from the marketplace and there is a chance of fish decomposition and the uncertainties of their sale in market. When the fishes are caught in numbers greater than the amount of consumption, their preservation becomes a necessity for their future use. Preservation and processing therefore become a very important part of commercial fisheries. It is done in such a manner that the fishes remain fresh for a long time with a minimum loss of flavor, taste, odor, nutritive value and the digestibility of their flesh. The problem of preservation is acute in tropical regions. For example, in India, the landed fish can ordinarily remain fresh for not more than 8 hours after capturing. In colder regions, landed fish is rapidly frozen due to extremely cold conditions, cold climate. So, no further preservation is needed. Whereas in the temperate climate, the need of preservation is not so pressing because fish can remain fresh for a few days without any further preservation. So there are certain principles of the preservation where we will go for the cleaning process, temperature, dehydration, use of salt, use of preservatives and the radiation treatment. They are required as the principles for the preservation process. Let us see one by one cleaning phenomena. Cleaning of fish with chlorinated water or seawater inhibits the spoilage activity and also keeps hygienic conditions at all levels of handling of fish. Whereas if you come to the temperature, if you lower the temperature, it not only limits the autolysis and the enzymatic activities but also stops the growth of bacteria. And the high temperature have the sterilization effect and destroy the autolytic enzymes too. Therefore, some preservation techniques like sun drying, smoking, canning, all are based on processing the fish under high temperatures. So, temperature is also a phenomena where we will take into consideration as the principles of preservation. And coming to the dehydration, that is nothing but the removal of water from the flesh. It is a strategy to minimize the chance of attack by moisture lowering microorganisms and the spoilage caused. The loss of moisture curbs bacterial activity and even kill the bacteria. The length of keeping period of fish depends upon the degree of dehydration we have achieved. Then if you achieve more dehydration, you can preserve them for longer times simply. Use of salt. If you go for the use of salt, the application of salt in excessive amounts, it not only causes the dehydration by osmosis but also penetrates deeply into the tissues, rendering the autolytic enzymes ineffective. It makes the autolytic enzymes ineffective. The bacterial growth is also slowed down. And coming to the use of preservatives, different kinds of drugs and chemicals are now known to have preservative qualities and effectively control the spoilage, and they have no untoward harmful effects or side effects on human beings. The best examples are ascorbic acid and the vinegar. Coming to the radiation treatment, it is a more recent technique which is using the gamma rays. Using the gamma rays for the radiation treatment, it is useful in destroying bacteria, particularly Pseudomonas species. So these are the various principles of preservation: cleaning, temperature, dehydration, use of salt, use of preservatives, and the radiation treatment. Coming to the methods of preservation, the fish and fish products are preserved in a variety of ways, providing best sanitary conditions, proper washings, removal of slime, blood stains, and guts are the prerequisites for any kind of procedures that they are followed. So preservation can be done both for short duration and for long duration. Let us see one by one. Preservation for short duration, the only one method which is adapted for the preservation of the fish for short duration is the chilling. Ice is an ideal medium for carrying out chilling. The most effective action to delay the spoilage is to chill the fish immediately after harvest and to keep it cool thereafter. This is obtained by covering the fish with layers of ice. However, ice alone is not effective for long preservation because melting water being about a sort of leaching of valuable flesh contents which are responsible for the flavor. But ice is effective for short-term preservation, such as is needed to transport landed fish to nearby markets or to canning factories, etc. Here, autolytic enzymatic activities are checked by the lowering the temperature. So, ice is the excellent medium for the chilling and excellent for the preservation of the fish for short durations. If we come to the preservation of fish for long duration, then we will follow other things rather than the chilling. When the preservation is required for a long period of time, the fishes are passed through the cleaning, gutting, and conservation and storage of various methods are adopted for the preservation of the quality of the fish, such as freezing, drying, salting, smoking, pickling, and the canning. So by these methods we can preserve the fish for long duration. We will check one by one. See the freezing phenomena. Freezing means removal of heat from the body. To check the enzymal, bacterial action and putrefaction, it is preferred to store the fish under lower temperatures. Effective freezing is achieved either by using a mixture of ice and salt or refrigeration. The sub-zero temperatures so obtained keeps the fish frozen throughout the preservation. Cold storage is used for storing of bulk quantity of frozen fish for longer durations. If you store the fish at minus 1 degree Celsius, you can store them up to 1 month. And if you keep them at minus 20 degrees Celsius, you can store them for 4 months. If you preserve them at minus 30 degrees Celsius, you can store them for 8 months together. 8 months together in the cold storage areas. This is about the freezing. Coming to the drying, it involves dehydration, the removal of moisture content from the fish, so that the bacterial decomposition or enzymatic autolysis does not occur. When the moisture content is reduced up to 10%, the fishes are not spoiled provided they are stored in dry conditions. Fish drying is achieved either naturally or by artificially. See the natural method of drying. In natural drying, the fishes, after being caught, they are washed and dried in the sunshine. Sun drying is the simplest and most ancient method of preserving fish. It is extensively practiced in India. Over 40% of the total catch of the sea fish is estimated to be cured in this manner. Sometimes the fish are dried by hanging on bamboo or wooden rods or on ropes stretched horizontally between vertical poles. This helps in uniform drying and prevents contamination with sand. From the ground, large medium sized fish are generally split and salted before drying. The process, however, has a number of disadvantages. It is slow and results in much loss through putrefaction process. In the artificial drying, what we will do, the killed fishes are cleaned, gutted, and have their heads removed. They are then cut lengthwise to remove large parts of their spinal column, followed by washing and drying them mechanically. To improve the quality and maintain the nutritive value of the fish or fish product, the process of dehydration is brought about in modernized dryers under controlled conditions. Examples are the hot air dryers, rotary dryers. They are utilized for the artificial drying phenomena. And coming to the next method, salting. This is also another traditional method utilized by fishermen along the coastal areas. Salting is a process where the common salt, sodium chloride, is used as a preservative which penetrates the tissues, thus checks the bacterial growth and inactivates the enzymes. Salting is done in two ways, dry salting and the wet salting. Dry salting and the wet salting. Here, in dry salting, what we will do is dry powdered salt is sprinkled on between the layers as the fishes are arranged in a container. The salt is applied in between the layers of fishes in the proportion of 1:3 to 1:8 salts to fish. The proportion of salt to fish varies with the fish since the oily fish require more salt when compared to the normal ones. After a period of 10 to 20 hours, the fish are removed from the tubs, washed in brine solution and dried in sunlight for 2 to 3 days. That is the dry salting. Whereas if you go for the wet salting, in wet salting technology, cleaned fish are stocked in large wooden vats containing concentrated salt solution. We will dip them in salt solution. Longitudinal slits are made in the flesh to allow penetration of salt. Salt in a proportion of 1:3 is applied. The fish are arranged in layers along with salt and allowed for 7 to 10 days. The salt solution is drained and the fish are marketed without drying. This is the wet salting. Dry salting, we sprinkle the dry powder on the pieces of the fish. Whereas wet salting, we dip in the salt solution. Coming to the smoking. Smoking, this is another traditional method of preservation of fish. Fishes after capture are regutted and cleaned. They are soaked in salt solution and are suspended on rods in a kiln for smoking. Smoke is generated by burning wood at the bottom of the kiln. Smoke has preservative effect due to phenolic compounds and gives the fish a smoky flavor. About 3% of world's catch is preserved by smoking process. The flesh of smoked fish is delicate, succulent, delicious, and can be readily consumed without further processing. But smoked fish has a poor storage life. This is about the smoking. And coming to the pickling, making pickles by using the fish. This is one of the traditional method of preservation of fish employed by the fishermen in coastal areas. Generally, mackerel, sardines are used for pickling for fish in southern India. The fish are gutted, washed and salted. A preserving agent, the parts of the fruit Garcinia cambogia Cambogia. The parts of fruit, Garcinia Cambogia, is packed in the abdominal cavity of the fish. The processed fish are packed in layers along with the salt in layers and the pods. Some of the times, tamarind is also used instead of Garcinia Cambogia. So, this is the pickling. And coming to the canning of fishes. It is a method of preservation in which spoilage can be averted by killing microorganisms through heat. The canning process involves pre-treatment of fish, preparation of can, filling and closure of the can, technique of heating the filled can to kill microorganisms without damage to fish, finally cooling, cleaning and storage of the product. This process consists of sealing the food material in airtight cans and heating under steam pressure for destroying bacteria. Since the cans are airtight, entry of microorganisms and oxygen from outside is completely prevented. The material gets sufficient cooled during the processing stage. The product can be consumed without any further elaborate preparation and remains in good condition even for years together. These are all about the methods of preservation. And coming to the another topic, byproducts of fishes. Fishes are consumed as a food in fresh condition. Some of them are also utilized after the preservation. During preservation processing, some materials of fish are discarded as waste. Similarly, some trash and distasteful fishes are unsuitable for human consumption. These waste materials become an important source to produce fish byproducts, which in turn are used to produce different useful fish byproducts. Then the important fish byproducts which are commercially useful, they are fish oils, fish meal, fish manure and guano, fish flour or hydrolyzed protein, fish protein powder or fish protein concentrate, fish silage, fish glue, icing glass, fish skin and the other medicinal products. So we will see one by one. So these are about the fish oils. Fish oil generally prepared from the bodies of the fat fishes like the herring, sardine, mackerel, salmon, anchory, cod, shark, ray, tuna, etc. The fish oils are important from the human health for the human health. These are extracted from the muscles or from the liver of the fish. First see the fish body oil. Fish body oil is obtained from the body of fishes like herring, sardine, salmon, mackerel, anchory, etc. Fatty fishes yield more oil than non-fatty fishes. However, on an average, about half kg of fish body oil can be obtained from 5 kg of fishes. That is, 5 kg of fishes yield half kg fish body oil. Body oil is mostly collected from mackerels and sardines along the Malabar coast. Fish body oil is poor in vitamin A and D and has less unsaponifiable matter. The presence of various proportions of the glycerides of fatty acids, both the saturated and unsaturated. The color of fish oils extracted from fish material varies from colorless to golden yellow or greenish yellow or even in red color. So there are two processes for obtaining fish oils, the wet process and the dry process. In the wet process, the fishes are crushed and made it into pulp. The pulp is cooked with steam in a continuous vertical cylindrical cooker. The cooked material is then pressed and a mixture of oil and stick water are collected into setting tanks or centrifuged to separate the oil material. Whereas in the dry process, it is suitable for fish with low body oil contents. It is less efficient than the wet process from the point of view of oil recovery. It is employed mainly for reducing fillet waste and the shark carcasses. The material is disintegrated in a grinder and cooked in a cylindrical, externally heated by steam. The oil is then pressed out. The fish body oil is of commercial importance and is used in the preparation of soaps, leather industry, in paints, and in varnish preparation. The fish body oils are also utilized in preparation of candles, lubricants, and the pharmaceuticals. Body oil formulations, when sprayed on citrus trees, have proved effective as the fungicide. Fish oil is used for smearing the surface of boats for longer preservation and to protect them against sea rots. Coming to the fish liver oils. The liver is the largest gland of the body and not only performs large number of functions but is also the storehouse of glycogen and fat. Certain fishes store enormous quantity of fat along with vitamin A and to a lesser extent of vitamin D and omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids on account of this property. Fish livers have been considered of immense commercial value as of providing highly medicinal liver oil. Halibut, tunas, sharks, rays, etc. are the fishes which are exploited for their liver oils. Fish liver oil is manufactured by different methods. So we may go for the auto fermentation. Fish livers are first chopped into small pieces and exposed to sun in earthen pots for several days so that it undergoes decomposition. The oil is released and is collected. So this oil is crude and used for burning lamps in curing yards. You may also get fish oil by boiling. This method is generally followed in small scale industries. The fish livers are chopped and boiled with sufficient quantity of water. The released oil is then decanted off easily. The yield, however, is moderate as well as the oil is not extracted from the liver. You can also get the oil from by steaming. The freshly collected livers are minced and subjected to cooking at 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. The oil floats at the surface in the container and the oil is skimmed off and collected in vessels. And this is the method which is very commonly used for the preparation of cod oil and sardine oil with the high oil content. Flotation or aquaside digestion is also adapted to synthesize in order to get the oils. The alkali or enzyme method, that is also useful. The fish liver oil is oil obtained from the liver of fish and it is mainly the codfish liver that is used for obtaining this oil. It is rich in omega 3 fatty acids and eicosapentaenoic acid EPA and docosahexaenoic acid DHA and vitamin A and D. It also contains small amounts of vitamin K. And what are the uses of fish oils? High level of vitamin A ensure good vision, faster wound healing, and it prepares a healthy mucosal lining of the digestive tract and a healthy skin. Fish liver oil has been given to children down the ages to prevent rickets and exophthalmos. Eicosapentaenoic acid is an anti-inflammatory and therefore it is reduces inflammation in the body which benefits those suffering from arthritis and depression. DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, benefits the brain, nervous system and eyes. It also fights the depression. The omega 3 fatty acids in cod liver oil reduces pain, stiffness and damage in the inflamed joints, arthritis that is. It is helpful in the growth of teeth and bones. It increases the immunity of the human body. So these all are about the liver oils. Body liver oil, body oils, cod liver oil, shark liver oils. Come to the fish meal. It is important product after fish liver and body oil. Fish meal is defined as a fried fish that has been ground and used as an ingredient of food or as a fertilizer. It is highly nutritive product and is an excellent poultry and animal feed which increases egg and milk production. So for example, fish meal contains 55 to 70 percent of proteins, 2 to 15% of fats, 10 to 12% of minerals, 6 to 12% of moisture. Fish meal also contains 5% of calcium, 4% of phosphorus, iodine, and vitamin B complex, vitamins A, D, K. Fish meal is prepared by wet and dry processing methods. In the dry method, the minced fish after extraction of oil is exposed to high temperature as in flame drivers or steam under partial vacuum. In wet method, the fish are chopped into pieces and boiled to extract the body oil. They are then pressed under the hydraulic pressure to recover the oil and are dried under steam and sterilized and packed for marketing as fish meal. Trash fish meal with rice bran and vitamins forms an excellent feed in aquaculture. And coming to the second one, fish manure and the guano. Fish manure and guano are inferior quality of fish meal. It is not fit for animal consumption. It is prepared from the unutilized material after extraction of body oil from the fish. Fish manure is a byproduct of the curing yards, fish glue industries, and oil extraction plants where trash or spoiled fishes have been employed. It has a high content of nitrogen, phosphates, and lime. It is used largely as manure in coffee, tea, tobacco, and coconut plantation. Fish guano is the dried refuse left after the oils is prepared, pressed out from cooked sardines. It contains 8 to 10% of nitrogen and phosphoric acid. Fish guano disintegrates in the soil and several times more effectively than any animal manure. Coming to the third one, fish flour or hydrolyzed protein. It is high quality fish meal but forms an ideal protein supplement to human diets. It is known to contain rich quantities of animal protein. It is prepared by solvent extraction method on a commercial scale. It is mixed with wheat or maize flour and is used as an enriching component in bread, biscuits, sweets, soaps, and gruels. Then coming to the fish protein powder or fish protein concentrate FPC. Fish proteins are extracted from the fish fillets after the extraction of fats with a dilute solution of caustic soda. After neutralization, the extracted material is dried by spraying it. The powder thus obtained is white in color. The powder which has obtained is white in color, contains 80 to 90% of solubilized proteins and is free from any fishy odor or taste. The fish protein powder is used for edible and industrial purposes, example as a substitute for the white of the egg in baking, confectionery, ice cream, and pharmaceutical products. Extracted fish proteins can also be used in paints, varnish, textile, paper, and cosmetic industries. By 2026, it reaches the 5 to 8% of the global market. Come to the liquid fish silage. It is a liquid or semi-solid fish meal and is highly nutritive animal feed. It is produced by adding 3 to 4% of an acid to minced fresh fish or fish offal. Generally, formic acid is used, but sulfuric or propanoic acid can also be used. Fish silage is also obtained by fermentation with lactic acid, bacteria in molasses. This is a food supplement rich in animal proteins and is marketed as a food supplement. Coming to the fish glue, it is prepared from the skin trimmings and bones collected from the fish. The fish glue or an adhesive is sold in liquid form and is used in painting, gilding, bookbinding, case making, gum tapes, blue point paper, and letterpress printing plates. Best quality fish glue is used in photo engraving and leather industry. Coming to the icing glass, it is a gelatin-like material produced from the inner lining of the swim bladder or air bladder of fish such as catfishes, cyanid, and polynumids. The swim bladders collected from the fish are washed, cleaned, and sun-dried. They are finely powdered and marketed. It is high-grade collagen. It has a high-grade collagen. It is used in wine industry for clarification of wines, vinegar, and beer. Isinglass was formerly as a substitute for gelatin in confectionery. And coming to the fish skin, the use of fish skin by man has been an age old practice. The skin of sharks and rays are tanned and marketed. The dried fins of sharks, the dried skin of sharks is known as shark green. So it is used for the smoothing of the rough surfaces of various ornamental items. And dried fins of sharks are exported to China where they are in demand for the preparation of soups. Fish leather, particularly of sharks, is used in making shoes, wallets, bags, and tobacco pouches. In Japan, the dried skin of puffer fishes is inflated and used to make lanterns. And finally, the medicinal products of fishes. The pancreas of the shark is very rich in insulin. The sharks have been found valuable for extracting the insulin from their pancreas. Silagosihama is an excellent food and considered well nourishing for nursing mothers. Live fishes such as Claris batrachus and Channa species are valued for their high nutritive and medicinal properties. And all these types of byproducts are produced from fish, which are useful in different ways. Fish, apart from serving as food, certain products with pharmaceutical application or medicinal value such as liver oil is prepared on a large scale of marketing. So this is all about the processing of the fish, preservation of the fish, and the other byproducts of the fishes. Thank you one and all.